Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Lion's Den Show. And here's your host, Cody Robert Judy.
Welcome to the Lion's Den Show. I'm your host and your toast, Cody Robert Judy. Cheers. Today is February 15th, 2011, and our show today is a pretty controversial one, for it deals with the bastardization of America through Obama and the facts we must face of his Muslim faith and his apparent assault upon our Constitution in multiple ways. So many ways, I'm beginning to wonder what part of the Constitution Obama actually might like. I think the only part he might have liked at one time was the part that enabled him to get where he resides right now, albeit illegally and unconstitutionally, the White House. Obama was raised a Muslim, which is simply of the faith of Islam. To understand Obama, it's important that you understand a few simple things about Islam. Now, the number one thing that Christians and Muslims should remember about Obama is that he denied both of them. He was a Muslim in his campaign for president, and he said he had converted to Christianity. He also said in his book of it, come down to Christianity and Islam, he'd come down on the Muslim side. Now, one thing I'm pretty sure about when it comes to Christianity and Islam is that dishonesty is pretty sure way to hell. I'm not really sure that either faith ought to tolerate such a notable liar as Obama. As we all know, he's not a natural-born citizen, and he signed a declaration of candidacy that said he was. He wasn't born in Hawaii, and he sure didn't have two American citizens as parents. He's about as not a natural-born citizen as one could be. Obama can't find his long-form birth certificate. He can't find the hospital he was born in. He can't find his dad outside of being a subject of Britain. But let me tell you what he can find. Obama can find himself completely outside the United States Constitution. Obama was a Muslim, and while it's not against the principles of the United States to allow a Muslim to be president of the United States, it is against the principles of the United States to endorse or respect any religion. Bear with me, because that's going to make perfect sense to you in just a minute. With about 1.6 billion Muslims comprising about 21 to 23% of the world's population, Islam is the second largest religion next to Christianity and one of the fastest growing religions in the world. This is a picture of Al-Masjid al-Nabwa, the Mosque of the Prophet in Medina, Saudi Arabia, that is the site of Muhammad's tomb. Muhammad was in fact the voice behind the Quran, respected as unaltered and received by revelation from God. Now, Muhammad lived between 570 AD and died June 8, 632 AD. He was a trader, and later, around 40 years of age, became a religious, political, and military leader. However, Muslims do not view Muhammad as the creator of Islam, but instead regard him as the last messenger of God, through which the Quran was revealed. Muslims view Muhammad as the restorer of the original, uncorrupted, monolithic faith of Adam, Abraham, Moses, and Jesus, and other prophets. Muslims repudiate the Christian doctrine of the Trinity and the divinity of Jesus Christ, comparing it to polytheism, or the belief in multiple gods. It is interesting to see most Christian faiths accused of this one by Muslims. While they accept Jesus as a prophet, Muslims they reject his deity as the Son of God, capital S, to which the Father has given all power. So clearly, the Muslims reject the mother of Jesus, being the Virgin Mary, and the immaculate conception of Jesus, making him literally the Son of God, or half God, half human. They revere Christ as a prophet of wisdom, but not any more a prophet than Muhammad or Moses. So they don't see him as the Savior of mankind. They believe that God is all-powerful, but that he couldn't mate or cause an immaculate conception with Mary, but they believe he could talk to men as they believe he spoke to Muhammad, and they also believe God could show his power through a prophet. So to be clear about this, God could talk to man, walk with man, show signs through a man, but he couldn't copulate with a woman like Mary. So he could make war, but he couldn't really make love. And peace without love is pretty inconceivable. Muslims do believe in angels and their duties to communicate the revelations of God to man, so they do believe in life hereafter for humans, but fail to explain the requisites and demands of justice through sin and the necessity of repentance made necessary by free will. So while espousing free will, the necessity of a perfect person, Christians believe Christ was, who would offer his perfection as a token for the demands of justice to even out the scale tipped off by the fall of man from heaven. Muslims deny the purest principle of justice, not embracing the purest mercy of God for all of his sons and daughters on earth that require justice through their agency, or they would cease to exist. And for that matter, so would God. Of course, this represents a great divide for humanity, and one prophesied to exist that will be the cause of great contentions and war. The only one that can soothe this, and that will certainly be Jesus Christ. In 1979, the Iranian Revolution replaced a mostly secular regime. I've often thought maybe Obama would be more comfortable with that. With an Islamic republic led by the Ayatollah Khomeini. Remember that what Obama said in his book, in his book about what side he would be coming down on if there was the difference between Christians and Muslims. He would come down on the side of Muslims, and that part of our Constitution where it says Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. Our U.S. Department of Defense Missile Defense Agency, headed by our executive branch, of which the President of the United States is entrusted, has just come up with a new logo that very closely relates a likeness to the crescent, moon, and star of the logo of Islam. You can see it here. And you can see the picture of the star and crescent here. By the 1970s, the symbol also became associated with the political Islam, or the Muslim community, and was used in flags representing Islamism, as in those of the Arab Islamic Republic and the U.S. nation of Islam. I guess you recall the spectacle of Obama bowing to the King of Saudi Arabia. Is there any doubt the ineligible in chief is a Muslim now? Because I'm just guessing now that the House would come down if Obama had made the Department of Defense's Missile Defense Agency logo look something like this, which is what I call the Mormon version of what Obama has changed in the logo of the Missile Defense Agency headed by the Department of Defense. I'm not sure if this one was considered because of its offense, but I trust every Christian in America is not really pleased with the bow to Saudi Arabia, nor are they happy about the new logo for our Department of Defense Missile Defense Agency. Here's a picture of the Aegis Ballistic Missile Defense System logo. And here is a picture of the old Missile Defense Agency logo before Obama got his hands on it. Now, the Aegis Ballistic Missile Defense System was favored by Obama in September 2009 when he announced plans to scrap the plans for a missile defense site in Poland in favor of missile defense systems located on U.S. Navy warships. On 18th of September 2009, Russian Prime Minister Putin welcomed Obama's plans for missile defense, which may include stationing American Aegis armed warships in the Black Sea over a missile defense site in Poland. Russian President Dmitry Medvedev placated Obama by saying Russia might concede perhaps could concede, and there was perhaps a sliver of the door open in backing potential imaginary sanctions on Iran's nuclear plutonium refining system as a reward of Obama's decision to scale back a U.S. missile shield in Eastern Europe. It was made very clear that U.S. and Russian officials denied a flat-out quid pro quo. Medvedev told the UN General Assembly that Obama's pivot on a missile defense plan, long loathed by Moscow, deserved a positive response. Obama himself has said his missile decision could have, potentially may be referred to as spurring Russian goodwill as a boner. You know, like you throw a dog a bone after you've eaten all the meat off of it. I haven't had much to say about the UN and the 6 million troops some report in America now as peacekeepers set to maintain the peace when the U-Haul pulls up to the Obama residence or the White House and begins moving him and his family out, that the UN will blame on we Article 2 patriots. They call birthers. But let me just say that the only reason Obama wasn't comfortable in accepting, I should say, that was the only reason that Obama was comfortable in accepting the chairmanship of the UN Security Council, which for a qualified and eligible president would have been a violation of Article 1, Section 9, Clause 8, which states no title of nobility shall be granted by the United States, and no person holding any office of profit or trust under them shall, without consent of Congress, accept of any present emolument, office, or title of any kind whatever from any king, prince, or foreign state. But Obama wasn't an eligible candidate or qualified person under the Constitution, so he felt comfortable in the constitutional prohibition and took the UN Security Council position as chairperson. And I mean, it's nothing to violate that Section 2 when you've made a mockery of USC Article 2, Section 1, Clause 5, outlining only natural-born citizens may run for the office of the president, unlike qualifications for senators and representatives of Congress. Never in the history of the United Nations has a U.S. president taken the chairmanship of the powerful UN Security Council. Here is what the UN Security Council does. Let's picture Obama as the chairman of this committee with this power. Under the UN Charter, the functions and powers of the Security Council are to maintain international peace and security in accordance with the principles and purposes of the United Nations. Does that give him a check, a balance with our Congress to wage war? No, it sure doesn't. To investigate any dispute or situation which might lead to international friction. Is that with the permission of our judicial branch for a search warrant? No, sure isn't. To recommend methods of adjusting such disputes or the terms of settlement, to formulate plans for the establishment of a system to regulate armaments, again without permission of Congress, to determine the existence of a threat to peace or act of aggression, and to recommend what actions should be taken, to call on members to apply economic sanctions and other measures not involving the use of force to prevent or stop aggression, again without Congress's check or balance. To take military action on an aggressor without the approval of our Congress, to recommend the admissions of new members, and to exercise the trusteeship function of the United Nations in the strategic areas. Strategic areas. To recommend to the General Assembly the appointment of the Secretary General, and together with the Assembly to elect the judges of the International Court of Justice, also bypassing Congress. My fellow Americans, there is a missile placed under the House of Cards Obama has built, which is going to come down very quickly when it detonates. The missile is called the United States Constitution, and I have an unaltered copy of it right here.